Hello everyone, my name is Dr. Manisha Gupta. I am assistant professor at Noida Institute of Engineering and Technology in MBA department, and today we are going to start the second lecture of the unit 1 of the business research method. And in this lecture we are going to cover the qualities of the research application in the functional area of the business, which include human resource management, finance, account, sales, marketing, production, supply chain management, and then in the last, the scope of research in business. So, I will start with the qualities of the research. So, there are the few qualities of the research. The qualities of the research include, I have taken the few qualities, which is the empirical, systematic, controlled, analytical, objective, unbiased, and logical and replicable. So, I start with the first point, the empirical. So, what do you mean by the empirical? It is based on the observation and experiment. If you are doing the research, it should be based on the certain type of the observation, certain type of the experiment, and it also related to the real life situation in which you are doing the research, so that you will get the concrete and the correct data. Then second point is the research should be systematic. The systematic means it should be planned, well designed in the starting. Whenever you do the research, the before starting any type of the research, the whole process is the plan, starting from the objective of the study, that what are the objective for which we are doing the research, so that we can control it and control the outcome of the research, that what we are getting in the end. In that you will plan everything, starting from the objective, you will make a hypothesis, you will design your questionnaire, you will target your population where you have to do the research, what will the area, why you have to do the research, and take example of the sampling techniques. We have decided in initial what will be your sample size, what will be the area, what are the mathematical tool you are going to use to evaluate your data. In that case, you will get your full, so that the research will be not deviate from the objective which you have taken in the start. Second thing is the research should be controlled. What do you meaning by the control? That when you do the research at the time, suppose you are studying on the two factors, two market forces, but in the market there are the many forces which are working at the same time. So, you have to control the other factors, so that you will get the better understanding that how the one factor is affecting the other. Like an example of the scientific study, when you make a certain type of experiment, in that situation, like the factors which will be affect your humidity, pressure, temperature, when you are studying the two factors, you will control the other factor, so that your research will be not affected, and the result will be not affected by the other factor. Next point is it should be analytical. Analytical means the critical analysis. You have to do the critical analysis of the all data to avoid any type of the error. Whatever the information you will get, you have to critically analyze. By critically analyze the every single information, you will able to avoid the certain type of the research which will be found in your study. So, in that way you may able to eliminate the error. Next, it should be objective. Yes, every research start with the certain type of objective. Take the example of the current situation that we are facing, the COVID-19 situation. Every pharmaceutical company has one objective to make the vaccine for it. So, they are working on the only single, we are working with the only single objectives to make the vaccine for it. So, in the business, even you are dealing with the other type of the business like the FMCG companies or the automobile company, they when they do research, they initially establish the objective that what they want to achieve, like they want to improve with their product, they want to understand the customer, they want to analyze the market. So every research start with the certain type of the objective which will be in the researcher's mind. Next point is it should be unbiased and logical. When you are doing the research, you should not empathize with a certain situation, with the sample, your data, and with the people. If you sympathize with them, then it may create the certain type of the research, certain type of the error in your research. So for that, you have to be the unbiased and you have to be think logically, not emotionally. You cannot deal or interpret with data with the emotions. Then next and last point in it is it should be replicable, verified by. It should be if someone want to verify your data, then they can replicate your research, your experiment, verified it. Means it should be repeatable. Whatever the research you have done, if someone repeating that experiment, they will get the same result. So these are the qualities of the research. After that, we will start the research application in the functional area of the business. So if you talk about the what is the functional area, the functional area of the business is a kind of the grouping of the activities which are performed in a business. For example, take what are the type of the activity. If you group the certain type of the activity, you will form the function, you will make the function. Example like the human resource management, financial accounting, or supply chain management, production operation, marketing. So these are the some of the basic functions of the business, and we are going to study how the research affect the business function. We will deal with the one by one. We start with the human resource management, how the research affect the this function of the business, human resource management. Take an example of the compensation management. The compensation, what is the compensation management? Compensation management is basically deal with that what the employees get in return of their services in terms of the salary, like in terms of the any kind of the monetary benefit and non-monetary benefit, like your basic salary, your TA, DA, HRA, your insurance policy, Mediclaim. So these are the component of the compensation management. So how the research is affecting the compensation management? If you see the today's workforce, today's workforce is very diverse. Every individuals have a different need. If you talk about the motivation, the one single type of the motivation does not work for the all. Someone will be satisfied just by the appraising them in a group. Some will be satisfied only if you gave them certain type of the incentive or the monetary benefit. So in that way, to making your workforce motivated and to retain them, it is important to do the research that what the other companies are doing, why the other companies have the very stable workforce, why their retention rate is high. So for that you have to do the study, you have to do the research, what is affecting the employee at the present time, how the compensation management effective them, what the benefit they will get in the one company, what they will get in the other, and the company who has most high retention, then what are the benefit they are giving, what about the compensation they are giving, what about the training and development they are doing, what are the techniques of the performance appraisal they are using. And to the keep in the mind, if you take the today's workforce, it is very diverse in nature. If you talk about only in India, that we are very diverse in a culture. The Indian culture is very diverse. We are different in terms of our language, our food habit, our clothing pattern. Even the climate of the country is a very extreme. That at the same time it is around. If you take an example of the Jammu and Kashmir, at a few places there is a constantly zero temperature throughout the year. But if you take the area of the Rajasthan, which is a desert area, the temperature is high throughout the year. If you take example of the northeast part of the country, they are very much rain fed area. They have a very heavy rainfall in the some areas. If you see the geographical structure, like some places are nearby sea, some places are the landlocked. So these things affected the workforce. So they are not the same. Their motivation are the not same. Their needs are the not same. So making them so for the retaining them, you have to research, you have to find out the reason to make them more motivated for increasing the retention of your company. Now I move to the second point, which is a finance and accounting. Finance and accounting is one of the most important part of the any company, which include like your leisure, your profit statement, includes your budget, financing. I take an example for explaining it. I take the example of the budget and the financing. How in every financial year starting, the companies make budget. Even the country our country has also the budget session. Every country make a budget in the starting of the year. Same for the companies. When the financial year started, they plan a budget that what they will do in the coming year. So the component of the budget, the one part where your revenue is coming and the expenditure, which is completely market driven. If you take the expenditure part, if some laws are the change, if there is some change in the international market, then it will affect your expenditure and also your revenue. Even though the international relation between the companies is also affect your revenue and expenditure. In some places, if we suppose I take an example, if you are the company and you are importing some raw material from UK or USA, in any case, if because of their any policy change or the dynamics between the two countries change, they may increase the tariff. If they increase the tariff on that raw material, it means the cost of the production is going to increase. When the cost of the production of your product is going to increase, it means that the profitability of your product will be going to decrease. And if the cost is increased substantially high, it becomes tough to survive in a market. At the same time, if we talk about the financing or investment, when the company invests in the certain type of the portfolio or stock exchange or income company, they will do the trend analysis. They analyze what is the past few years trend, that how the marketing is affecting it, that it is growing, what is the growth of that portfolio, how the company, if the company want to, will go for the merger or acquisition, that company make sure that the company in which they are going to involve in the future, that is flourishing or not, they have a substantial growth or not. Because if they are growing, then also if you are associated with those companies, suppose you acquired those company or the merge with that company, then only you can grow. So for that you have to do the research. Next point I have taken is the sales and the marketing. When we talk about the marketing start with the identifying the need of the customer. Here I have taken the few example like the pricing, promotion, customer relationship management. But you talk about the sales and marketing. For identifying the need, it starts from the identifying the need. For the identifying the need, you have to do the market research, you have to do the primary study, that what is today's customers need and how it is changing, how their spending patterns are changed. If you see, the spending patterns of our country is changed substantially, that in today's time if you go for the some data, there is a record that 10 to 15 airbags, the saving a general and average saving is 35% of their income, but in today's time the saving is decreased to 28 to 30%. In that case, it means that the people are spending more. So when they're spending more, in what area or what type of the product or the services they are spending, by analyzing that, you may able to spot the market, you can able to you can able to identify the need of the customer, you can identify the prospective customer or the market. And like the pricing, when you decide the price of the product, you have to do the comparative study with your competitor. You cannot make the price of your product is much higher than the competitor. In that case, the customer will may not opt your product because your price is high. So for the price and like the promotion strategy, the promotion strategies is also the change very much. Everything goes online, everything is on the digital platform. Today we talk about the social media marketing, but if you go 10 years back in 2005 and 10, we are not talking about the social media marketing, and that time it is emerging trend. But in today's time it is a full-fledged, and it affects it is affecting, it is also giving the opportunity. If you're the small merchant, you want to sell your product, you will do the social media marketing on the Facebook, on the Twitter and other similar type of the media to get your customer. You in today's time, you do not have to set a retail shop to get a customer, you can sell it in online platform also. Now in the other function of the management, I have taken the production and operation. In the production management and production operation, take an example like this: selecting and designing of the product. By doing the market research, you may find the 4 and 5 of the prospective product for your company, but what product you want to do, you have to select it according to your resources and what are the resources available around you, what is easily available to you. So by doing that analysis, you can select your product which will be the more fruitful and more convenient and which will give you more profit. And after that, there's a design. Everything is today's design. Even though whatever the chips packet you are having, that packet is also designed. And for like the perishable goods, the designing of the product is like the packaging of the product is become more important, because the perishable good, if you did not pack it properly, then it may not going to very last long. Then product planning, you have to plan the product throughout the process. What are the machine you are using, what are the raw material you are using, how much you are raw material you have, how much time you have to plan to make that product. And also the quality control. Why the quality control is important? Because if you did not give the good quality of the product to a customer, then in that situation they may not come again to buy your product. So it is very important to control the quality. And how you do control the quality, like in today's time, the many techniques the many companies are using to control their quality, and they control the quality from very starting till the end. Next and last, I have taken the supply chain management. The supply chain management is very important and very crucial for the business, because in today's time we have invested very heavily on the supply chain management. In a global average, if I talk about what is the global average, the company spending on the supply chain management is the 8% of their GDP. But in our country, we are spending the 14% of the GDP on the supply chain management, like inventory management, distribution, warehousing, transport. So today there is a very wide scope to work on it, and we have to improve our supply chain management, like the warehousing around whatever the food, grain, cereals and the vegetable we produce in a country throughout the year, around 10 to 15% of that part was was not able to the properly warehoused or distributed, so it may not it get distorted, and it after the same time, because you are not able to maintain it, it is ruined, or it got perished. For the companies also, it is very important to select the proper distribution channel, to have the proper warehousing, proper transport, and the proper inventory management. And if you take an example, in today's time, the company, our country has launched a very ambitious project, which is a national infrastructure pipeline, which is a combination of the very many social and infrastructure scheme to develop or improve our supply chain management, because it is hampering a lot of the business, and because of the heavy supply chain management cost, our product may not able to become the very globally competitive, because it's increased the cost of the production. So by decreasing the supply chain management cost, we may able to decrease the cost of the production. In that situation, we make our product and the services more globally competitive in the market. After that, I will go to the last topic of the today, which is the scope of the research in a business. What is the scope of the research? How the research affect the business, and how we are going to use the research to improve. First point is the technological innovation. Every company is doing technological innovation. Take an example of any type of your automobile companies. Whatever the bikes you are using, whatever the cars you are using, you will see that after every 4 to 5 years, the company are launching it again with the additional feature. They are making their product more technological advanced, more technological innovative, so that they can survive in a market with their competitors. If you produce the product which is very innovative, by innovation you may add a certain new feature, or you can able to reduce the cost substantially. In that case, you can capture the market very easily, you can become the global leader, and you may get the more market share of that product and services. Next is competitors analysis. By competitors analysis, what is the benefit of the competitors analysis? By doing the competitors analysis, you may find that what are the qualities they are giving to the customer, what the quality of the product they are giving to them, what the product they are giving, why their product is successful, and even why the product is not so successful. In the both the case, they give you the learning, and by using that learning, you may improve your product and services. Next is industry fair. What do you mean by the industry fair? If you work in a certain type of the environment, there is a many scope for the something very abruptly come, like there may be certain type of the natural disaster which we have seen in the last 1 year in the name of the COVID-19. It is a very big natural disaster, or that if the international market crash, like the recession, inflation, or some new laws introduced in the parliament, some new rules are coming, so it may create the industry fear. But if you're aware what is coming next, you can prepare yourself and you may able to survive it. Next point is new market entry. If you are going to enter in a new market, suppose you are a company, Indian company, and you want to enter into the market of the US and UK. So first of all, entering that type of the market, you have to do the research to understand their customer, what they are expecting, what they are willing to spend, how what are their spending pattern, why they are going to buy, why they are not going to buy your product. So becoming the successful before entering into any type of the market, you have to gain the thorough information of that market. And the last point is new product development. Definitely, how you develop new product, how to research and development. We start with a certain type of objective. If like in today's time, the government are focusing on the solar power energy. So you want to develop a certain type of the equipment which work on the solar power. So in that situation, what you're doing with giving your customer to the new product is so that their cost will be decrease of using that product. The today's time the company are going to automobile companies are making the electric cars. Why they are making the electric cars? Because they find out that in the future the demand of the electric cars is going to increase, because the people want to shift from the diesel and petrol CNG cars to the electric car. There are the many reasons. It may be the cost effective also, it because electric car will reduce your air pollution, and there are the many other reason to opt it. So in that situation, whenever you develop a new product, you have to do the proper research and development, so that you can make sure that whatever the product you are developing, it may be useful. So for this, I am closing today's session. Thank you all, and we will see you soon in the another session.